Just across London, a few hours later, Leeds go to Chelsea for a first league meeting between the two teams in 16 years. And it's fair to say there is a little bit of history in this fixture. We'll let the fans tell the story.
From an outside, I suppose it's a bit of an unusual rivalry.
Chelsea! Chelsea!
It makes no sense in terms of geography, does it?
You don't really understand as a kid why you don't like them. You just know you don't like them.
Chelsea, so attractive and so successful at the moment, in third place in the league table against Leeds United, the reigning champions.
As a Leeds fan, you get top. There's certain teams that you're not meant to like. Man United is probably the number one, but Chelsea is very much a close second.
So we're all set then. Chelsea versus Leeds United.
Leeds come up in the 60s and they come up with a Dirty Leeds tag, and certainly the London press really took against them.
I think we've been dealt with very unfairly with the press, and I think they'll all have the headlines ready-made now for Sunday and Monday morning before we step on the field at Stamford Bridge.
So it was these dirty Northern Upstarts from up there trying to kick our team.
It just sort of like gets in your blood, if you know what I mean.
They're a good side, they're a hard side, they're a very workmanlike side, but I think man for man and skill, they're not in the same class as we are.
At that time, we were competing against each other, for honours on the field, but I think that cultural thing as well played a massive part.
Leeds was very much the physical, tough, uncompromising northern team, and Chelsea were the posh boys of the capital.
We were the better dressed, you know what I mean? We were the more slick looking, and you go up north and they've all got long hair and baggy trousers and, you know what I mean?
You have glamour, you have the Chelsea players are mixing with artists and fashion designers. And Leeds and Yorkshire were these salt-of-the-earth, working-class, cloth-cap players. While the Chelsea players were going out to their nightclubs, Don Revie was sitting down with these players calling out bingo.
Your job, Bill. My job.
These differences were really played up by the media. The climax of this enmity comes in the FA Cup final of 1970.
We met a number of times in the years leading up to that match, and this was our chance to win a cup final, which neither of us had done up to that point.
I wasn't around in the 70s when my dad was going, but he tells the stories of the infamous 1970 FA Cup final, which went to a replay at Old Trafford. It was a bit of an out-and-out war.
Leeds, like Chelsea, were a team that were like a stiletto knife inside a velvet glove, but they weren't scared to go in studs up.
Hutchinson right into Brentford. There was no excuse for that.
Osgood put Jack Charlton in the air, and as he got up, he turned and done the same thing to Osgood. You know what I mean? And the referee just said, play on, Eddie McCready, he done a karate kick in Billy Bremner's side of his head in our penalty area.
I think the referee's going, I played advantage. You get advantage, he's decapitated there.
Chelsea have won it. And there's Webb getting robbed. The scorer of the winning goal.
It's the most watched club football match ever in the UK. 28.5 million people watched that on a Wednesday night.
From then onwards, whenever we met up with Leeds, there was trouble.
It wasn't the football at Stamford Bridge which featured on the sports pages today. It was the scenes before, during and after involving hooligans. 150 were arrested well away from Stamford Bridge when they ran riot on the London Underground.
It did become real hand-to-hand combat, scrapping in the street out the stadium. You get all the hooliganism.
The Chelsea headhunters and the Leeds service crew, as they're known.
It was tribal warfare, so in those days, you went for a ruck in a fight, and a lot of people went for that rather than the football. After Leeds won the title in '92, then in those later years, Chelsea were coming through. They got money behind them. So you've still got the us and them, north and south.
We played Chelsea away. I think they refer to it as the Battle of Stamford Bridge.
10 cards were shown on the night.
Welcome to the 70s revisited.
Remember Frank LeBeuf give Harry Kewell a real kicking?
Every game at Ellen Road, always fiercely contested.
They despised each other.
The whole campaign saga has had a huge impact on my personal dislike for the club.
What are these Londoners doing in charge of the pride of the White Rose County?
I think for him to then bring people like Dennis Wise in and Gus Poyet, it just wasn't right to have Chelsea running the club. It was just never going to work.
That Spygate business, I think that's just a little bit of jealousy.
Given the Bielsa-Lampard link, Leeds have been wanting to do one over on him than Chelsea.
The crucible of this enmity was two brilliant, talented teams going toe-to-toe in meaningful matches. If that happens again, then I think we'll find those embers rekindled.
Whether the players change, the managers change, it just continues to flow through both teams.
It's an amazing archive there, a real look through the BBC Sport library. And interestingly, that famous 1970 FA Cup final replay, have a look at that list there on the screen, is the 5th most watched UK TV event of all time, sandwiched between the Apollo 13 mission and the royal wedding, with 28.5 million people watching. So a bit of needle in the present day as well, but it goes back an awfully long way. Chelsea, though, Micah, they're unbeaten in 15 games. And how impressive, you know, you're both defenders. We've talked a lot about how they've had problems at the back. They've really turned it round, haven't they?
Yeah, they got brought in the keeper, Mendy. Chilwell's been excellent at left-back or even wing-back position. But the person for me who's changed it is Thiago Silva. And I had my doubts about him just because PSG let him go on a free. And I thought if he was still in the best form, they would have kept him. But it looked like it was his decision. And to get him at Chelsea, he's just been inspirational. And he's been a massive part of why they're keeping clean sheets.
And at the other end of the pitch, you've got Giroud in midweek going, hey, hello, I'm still here, I'm still quality. Amazing performance from him.
I think when you look at Giroud and throughout his career, question mark after question mark, people doubting him, but then he delivers. A World Cup winner, and people are like, well, he didn't score. But no, he contributed to that team. Same at Arsenal. And once again, people saying, oh, he should leave, he should do this, he's been on the bench. And then comes off an ultimate professional to put in that performance how he did.
It's going to be fascinating because Leeds going forward are breathtaking to watch. You look at the stats we've got here. They've created more chances in open play than any other team in the division. I mean, they never stop, and they're just so hard to work out and great to watch, aren't they?
They're just incredibly great to watch. I watched them in the Championship, and I thought it was a little bit kamikaze, if I was being totally honest, all over the place. And I thought, can they implement that in the Premier League? And you've seen by the numbers there that they can. They probably should have won more games with the stats and the expected goals. So I'm a Leeds, I'm a Yorkshire lad. So it's nice to see them doing so well, and long may it continue.
And we talked about Giroud. Bamford's another one who's had a good season so far. Back at the Bridge as well, but he had a couple of loan spells, didn't he?
Yeah, and he'll be relishing playing in this game today. Just going back to your old club, playing, just the form that he's in as well, and how many chances that they actually create.